Boehner and Eric Cantor, well, they are whining again about President Obama's proposal to make millionaires pay their fair share. Boehner, Cantor, and the rest of the Republican Party has been in a nonstop campaign mode since President Obama took office. Now the Tan Man is accusing the president of not being a leader.
Watching the president here over the last couple of weeks has been a bit disappointing. And it's been disappointing because it's pretty clear that the president's decided to forget his role as president and leader of our nation in a time of economic uncertainty, and to begin the campaign for his reelection some 14 months away.
Boehner has held the speaker's gavel for almost 10 months and has yet to produce one piece of legislation to create jobs, just for the record. The Tan Man's political hitman is using the same talking points. Here's Eric Cantor.
The president has made a decision that he's going to go into full campaign mode now 14 months before the election. And that's fine. That's his decision. But what he's going to find when he goes traveling out to Republican districts across the country is he'll learn that people don't want their taxes raised.
You know, if they were in the radio business, they'd be playing the same song over and over again. Once again, Cantor doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. According to a new Gallup poll, 66% of Americans are in favor of increasing income taxes on people earning over $200,000 a year and families earning at least $250,000. Only 32% are opposed. The president has Republicans, I think, right where he wants them, if you want to talk about the campaign trail. Boehner and Cantor accuse President Obama of waging class warfare on the rich. The president shot back on the class warfare talking point last night in a big way.
You're already hearing the Republicans in Congress dusting off the old talking points. You can write their press releases. Class warfare, they say. You know what? If asking a billionaire to pay the same rate as a plumber or a teacher makes me a warrior for the middle class, I wear that charge as a badge of honor. I wear it as a badge of honor.
President Obama's $447 billion jobs bill is on the table, and so is the largest spending cut in American history. If Boehner and Cantor want to play politics on creating jobs for America, President Obama, well, he's ready to join the fight.
We have been a nation of responsibilities to ourselves, but also responsibilities to one another. And we've got to meet those responsibilities right now. So maybe some people in Congress would rather settle these differences at the ballot box. I'm ready to settle them at the ballot box. I intend to win this next election because we've got better ideas.
John Boehner has no business accusing President Obama of not being a leader. Earlier tonight, Boehner couldn't round up enough Republican votes in the House to pass a bill to keep the federal government from running through the month of November. More than 50 of Boehner's Republican members rejected the plan because the bill didn't have deeper cuts. They wanted more. Democrats rejected the bill because of Eric Cantor's provision for spending offsets to pay for disaster relief for victims of Hurricane Irene. Congress is headed for yet another vacation next week, so Boehner needs to quickly try to round up enough votes to keep the government from shutting down. The American people have had enough of this crap from Congress, I think. That's why they have a record disapproval rating at this hour. Americans, what do they need? Jobs. And President Obama is the only adult and politician in the room that has a plan on the table. Mr. Boehner, that is what leadership is all about. Where's your plan? Where's your solution? Get your cell phones out. I want to know what you think. Tonight's question, who is more of a leader, President Obama or House Speaker John Boehner? Text A for President Obama, text B for Speaker Boehner to 622-639. You can always go to our blog at ed.msnbc.com and, of course, comment. And I'll bring you the results later on in the program. Joining me tonight is Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Senator, good to have you with us tonight. The votes that John Boehner could not gather to pass this, is this just really the radical being even more radical than Boehner? How do you read it?
It is. I think as right-wing as Boehner is, he cannot control his even more right-wing extremists. But the main point here, Ed, is the point you just made. This country today has 16% real unemployment, 25 million people without jobs or underemployed. What the country is demanding is a real jobs program to put the American people back to work. The Republicans have nothing to say except the same old mantra, let's give more tax breaks to billionaires and let's cut programs for working people and the vulnerable and the sick. So I think the president is now, I'm sorry.
Well, I want to ask you about President Obama. I mean, he is saying things that he has not said within the last 3 years. I mean, he is being very aggressive. He's taking it to him. Is it too little, too late? Can his jobs plan pass, and will he get the people with him?
I don't think it's too late. And, Ed, I am just delighted. I mean, you and I have been chatting for months about how we want to see this president stand up and make it clear he's prepared to take on the big money interest, prepared to take on the multi-corporations. Those guys are doing phenomenally well. Corporate profits soaring, richest people doing better than they've ever done, while their effective tax rate is the lowest in decades. Meanwhile, we have massive unemployment. What the American people want to hear the president say, and he's beginning to say it, is we're going to put people back to work. We're going to ask the wealthiest people in this country to start paying their fair share of taxes. Also, I would like to say it, as somebody who is the chairman of the Defending Social Security Caucus, I have been very concerned about some of the language coming from the White House over the last couple of months. I am delighted to hear the president saying he is not going to cut Social Security. He is not going to cut benefits for Medicare. That's an important step forward. What the president is now doing is making sense in terms of good public policy, and I think he's talking the language that the American people, especially working people, want to hear from their president.
Senator, great to have you with us tonight. You have been a stalwart in the fight, no question about it. Thank you. Let's bring in now Congressman Jim McDermott of Washington and Bill Pascrell joining us tonight of the state of New Jersey. Great to have both of you with us. Congressman Pascrell, Boehner not being able to get enough votes. What do you make of that tonight?
He can't control his own caucus. It's quite obvious. 50 votes going south on him. I'm from Jersey, so we're going to fight this out. We're going to get the money that we need to get to help not only New Jersey, but the 52 districts throughout the Eastern Seaboard in the 15 states that were hammered by Irene. I agree with Governor Christie of our own state that this is not a time to have politics. We have never done this during tornadoes, hurricanes, snowstorms in Dakota. Americans come to help Americans. They don't affect Democrats and Republicans. These storms, they affect everybody. If you go through my district, which is probably one of the hardest hit of all of these 52 districts, Ed, you'll see that people can't get back into their homes. Many of the bridges have probably been really, really minimized so that we cannot use them any longer. We need that money from FEMA. We need it up front because we don't know what the real damage is in this storm. We do not know. We have no idea of the health matters, the environmental matters, let alone the destruction on our streets. So for the Republican Party to try to put a string attached to this emergency money, which we've never had before, I'm not going to accept that.
Well, Congressman McDermott, we've known all along that they're a radical bunch, but today I think it's a new chapter. I mean, John Boehner could not get enough votes because he didn't go deep enough on spending cuts. Is there any limit that these Republicans, what is the limit that they'll go to? Is there any line drawn that they will stop just continuing pounding away? It's all about defeating President Obama and stopping government at this point. That's what it seems like. Your thoughts?
Well, Mitch McConnell said it a year and a half ago that his job was to prevent the president from being reelected, and they will do anything, as they did today. If you will take hostage people who have been ravaged by a hurricane and ravaged by an earthquake in the central part of the United States, or in the eastern border of the United States, you are willing to take anybody hostage. They have no scruples whatsoever. This is a religious element in the Republican Party that John Boehner has absolutely no control. He's not running that thing anymore. It's being run by the radicals who are basically nihilists. They don't want government. They don't think government should solve anything. God did it, and God will fix it, and they're not going to use the government.
Is there going to be a special session, Congressman McDermott, this weekend? You're scheduled to be gone next week. Congress is going to adjourn. What do you make? I mean, the fact of the matter is we're headed for another shutdown unless there's action. What do you think?
I think that there will ultimately be enough adults in the room who understand what America is and that we take care of people when we need to take care of them and that we want jobs. When you think about the fact that you've got increasing home foreclosures, even today in my district, one of the districts that's done very well, this country is in problems. Yeah. And there are enough adults who are going to say, we can't close the government down. That's crazy. We will get the votes and get out of there.
I want to ask both of you quickly, Congressman Pascrell, what about President Obama now taking it to the wealthiest Americans? Isn't this a slam dunk for the Democrats to support him on this, saying that the wealthy Americans have got to pay more? I mean, is he going to get enough support from his own party to push this through? What do you think?
The answer to the last question is yes. He really punched everybody in the nose who wants to do nothing last week in his speech. And I think the Republican Party has to understand that the Americans want to put politics aside and get people back to work. And we can do that best if we put our heads together. But if you have an attitude that the president can do no right, your own president, and you saw that, Ed, on the day of the speech, Mr. Boehner said, why should we Americans be forced to watch a politician when they'd rather be watching a football game? And I say to Mr. Boehner, you are a coward of the worst extent to talk about our president in that manner, shape, and form. You respect the president. He's all of our presidents.
Gentlemen, we could talk all night. I appreciate you joining us. Congressman Jim McDermott and Bill Pascrell with us here on The Ed Show tonight.